CBS Sports writer Reid Forgrave joins me now from Bloomington, Minnesota.
And what amazes me most about this situation is that all this drama, this soap opera, happened in San Antonio, the model franchise over the past quarter century in the NBA. Kawhi, I feel, really screwed this up by saying, I want to go to the Lakers.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Charlotte actually goes that direction and take whichever one's there.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. I think there are 3, maybe even 4 elite point guards in this draft, if you want to count Elie Okobo, the French point guard. This is heartbreaking, and I think the question is, what will the end look like for Derrick Rose? Will it look like Sandy Koufax, Bo Jackson, guys that kind of fall off the face of the earth? Or will it look like someone like Grant Hill, a guy who was a superstar and then became a very good, I call him a role player, isn't quite right. He's a little more than a role player, a very competent NBA player, not an MVP level player. That's what I would hope for.
Tell me from the beginning the time that you broke up a fight between Lemon and the Doberman Pinscher down the street.
She got out the house and she jumped over the fence and started fighting with the dog.
If I'm picking someone to be my teammate, I'm picking the guy who breaks up the fight between the Doberman and the German Shepherd, right?
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Is this going to be something that's going to be problematic for Duke down the stretch of the season?
Look, I think it's more likely for it to be problematic at Duke than it will be in the NBA. I mean, in the NBA, you are playing against grown men. In college ball, you obviously are not. And I know Zion Williamson is only a teenager, but let's not kid ourselves. He is a grown man. He will be one of the strongest and biggest players in the NBA when he gets to the NBA very soon.
It's what's interesting about you guys. So many of us focus on how fast and how fun you guys on the offensive side, but tonight, that really showed that defensive identity.
I like the way James Harden's a lefty, like me, and can score. So
I'm glad you said James Harden, because that's how I keep comparing you to. I feel like you got like this slitheriness, right?
I love to watch him play.
So I mean, we're in New York, and I'm a reporter, so I think contractually obligated to ask. You want this to be your home court, right?
Hey man, if they draft me, I'll be happy.
How exactly is the NFL handling this?
Look, this is an existential question for the NFL. Now look, the NFL has done a lot to tackle this, what I'd call an existential issue. The fact that Rob Gronkowski was knocked out of that game and not allowed to go back in is a huge step in the right direction for this league. The league's worst nightmare is to have that sort of awful concussion play that makes 100 million people watch it on TV, their stomachs turn.
Absolutely.
For that to happen in the Super Bowl is the worst nightmare for this league.
You can't quite see his face. You can hear his voice a little bit.
Hello. Where's your hot dogs?
This man buys these tickets, goes out to his SUV, drives away. His brothers-in-law call him Baby Jesus because, 1, he's a bit of a square, and 2, he can't grow a beard, just like Baby Jesus. Do you think 40-0 will ever be done?
I hope so by us.
You've often spoken about being an outsider in the world of college basketball and about wanting to be let inside the velvet rope. Now, you're a member of the most exclusive fraternity in basketball. Was that a personal validation of sorts?
Things are just starting to get back to where they were supposed to be.
Yeah, and this is always where he was supposed to be, frankly, in contention for the #1 overall pick. Whether it's misinformation or I would say more likely disinformation, purposeful information thrown out there to throw people off the trail.
Zion, I gotta be honest, I'm a little disappointed you didn't hit your head on the backboard tonight. Come on. Do you feel the pressure when you play in a place like Madison Square Garden to go out there and not just play basketball, but put on a show?
Not really. I feel like I live for moments like this.
Raptors projected as the #1 seed again in the East. What say you?
Look, this is a big-time bet by Masai Ujiri just on this one season. You gotta do it. Am I gonna put them as the favorites in the East? I don't think so. I still think the Boston Celtics, with that young core, Tatum and Brown and Rozier. Plus, remember, you're going to get a healthy Gordon Hayward, a healthy Kyrie Irving. That team is absolutely stacked.
If he slips out of the top 10, somebody messed up.
Oh, yeah. And somebody got an absolute Christmas gift, Christmas in June for them. Look, Trae Young had, this is just, to me, paralysis by analysis. Why are we overthinking this? He's the first player ever to lead college basketball in points and assists. He's the closest that we've ever had to a Steph Curry.